Hi, I am currently in the middle of moving right now to my apartment in Santa Cruz. And while I was packing some stuff up, I was looking at a bunch of my new DVDs and I wanted to do a little bit of a tour because I don't know, I like movies and I like to think that I like watching movies. So, um, I'm gonna start off with my my favorite movie ever, Memoirs of a Geisha. Um, I would really recommend every single person in the world to watch this movie at least once. I think it is the most beautifully written and visually shot films I've ever seen, and it's a really tragic but heartwarming story about a young girl who is basically human trafficked into the geisha world and trains herself to understand that kind of discipline. And I think it shows kind of the ugly side of what it's can be like to be a geisha, and I feel like it's very overly glamorized in some aspects, but yeah, I've always been fascinated by geishas, and hopefully when I go to Japan soon, I'll be able to attend a show one day. And then I just have some other classics, I just recently rewatched all three of these, but Black Swan, Carrie, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith are also really good. I'm a sucker for any Angelina Jolie film, no matter how bad it is. This is just a funny, they know it's stupid, and I respect their hustle for that. And then Carrie and Black Swan, you can't not watch those, right? And I recently picked up a few of these from the record store the other day, but I got Dark Knight, classic, that's Batman right there, no explanations needed. And then one of my favorite comedy series has to be any Medea movie, no matter if it's the first, second, third, 53rd, I'll watch it. I actually really liked the new one that came out. I thought that was really funny. I actually haven't watched this one yet. I really wanted to though, but The Hours with Nicole Kidman, Meryl Streep. Yeah, I heard it's really bad, but that's why I really wanted to watch it. And I have some Blu-rays. I don't really like Blu-rays that much. I honestly prefer the lower quality for some reason. I can't really explain why. But I really love Wizard of Oz. This movie used to freak me out as a kid. I remember we had in our old living room in the back, we had this really old TV, and we'd watch this on it. And it's just a scary ass movie to me. I don't know, but there's something really cool about how this is the first mass marketed color film picture ever. Yeah, but I really like all the theories about it that I've seen online, there's Festus, and then that wasn't a theory, but then the people dying on set. It's oh my god, people went through anything to get this film done. And then I have Gretel and Hansel. I honestly don't know how I feel about this film. I think I stole this when I was 6 or something, or whenever it came out. I don't even know how old this movie is. I just really like any kind of old witch movie, whatever. And back when I used to do some 3D building stuff, I remade the very famous A-frame house on there, and I kind of blew up from that. And that's kind of what started my whole lore. If you know, you know. I hate this fucking movie. It pisses me off so much. Honestly, show, great. Movie, complete garbage. Same with this one. Hate it, but you have to have it if you've watched any of the show. So for that reason, that's why I have these two. And I can say I've watched them once, and I'm probably just gonna keep them on my shelf, not gonna lie. And honestly, I'm trying to branch out a little bit more than I normally do, but I'm a sucker for like A24 and like horror movies of like that kind of style. I really liked X. X was really good. I love Mia Goth. I'm kind of sad that she's not really like doing all that much right now, but that's okay. But X was really good. I think it kind of like revitalized A24 in a weird way because they were going in an interesting direction. But anyways, after Memoirs of a Geisha, honestly, maybe above Memoirs of a Geisha, A Wrinkle in Time. Like, I grew up on this movie. I remember whenever it would be like winter time and I was a little bit melancholic, my mom would put this movie on, and this is like a really old, like, I had to like dig through Amazon to even find one of these, because it's not very popular. I mean, so basically, if you don't know, like, A Wrinkle of Time is a very famous novel, by Madeleine L'Engle, and I actually recently found out my parents knew Madeleine L'Engle, which is like awesome, first of all. But yeah, this movie is like my comfort movie if I'm ever feeling sad or I'm feeling like a weird like nostalgic sadness. I'll put this on it. Like, here's that. I don't know how much I can explain about this movie without confusing anyone, because it's like a really nerdy, like, very strange movie. I would recommend you watch this high. That's all I'm gonna say. A Wrinkle in Time. Comfort movie. Might be my favorite. And then another comfort movie I actually really like, Willy Wonka. I mean, the fat boy pisses me the fuck off, so for that reason I don't really watch it that much, but once in a while, once in a blue moon, I might put this on. I don't know. There's not much I need to say about that one, honestly. The Witch. I think this is an A24. Right? I don't know. Yes, it is an A24. I recently got really fascinated with Salem, Massachusetts, and the history with the witch trials and stuff, and I really just love the atmosphere that this movie builds, and I've been really inspired in my own art and creating in this, and I think it's like, it's something I definitely had to watch twice before I really liked it. I will say, like, it's a lot of nothing at first, and you don't really need to understand it for that reason. But I would say the highlight of this movie is definitely at the end. There's this one scene where the main character starts like levitating over a fire with a bunch of other witches, and it's like, oh, whoa, like that was like really sexy. But yeah, I love this movie just because of the atmosphere it builds. And then I have Titanic. I'm not gonna talk about that one because it like makes me cry every time, but Suicide Squad, I hate this movie for so many reasons, but like any other gay boy, I used to be like really fascinated with like Harley Quinn, because I thought she was like such a bad bitch, and she really like stood up for what she believed in, even though she's like a horrible person. Like, there is like, in my opinion, I think she had some good reasons to kind of kill people, but you know, bad bitches be bad bitches, and you can't really stop them from doing that. And then and sorry, I'm just laughing because it's like all horror movies from this point. But my favorite horror movie, Sex and the City. This is the first season, probably one of my favorites, just because it was like, it didn't really know where it was going. I honestly only recently got into Sex and the City like a year or two ago, and I think, yeah, honestly, I'm not sure what I can say about this other than like, Carrie Bradshaw, weird fucking woman, but you gotta love her. And then I can only watch these Saw. I think I have like a few more, but I can't watch these on my own. Like, I need someone there with me in order to like stomach these. But I think these, if I'm like really like in the mood on like Halloween night, I'll watch Saw. I used to make some like horror game stuff and whatnot, and I think the aesthetic of this has really like influenced some of that, but other than that, there's not much more to say than that. I think they're like shitty movies, and that's why people watch them, and I like that. And then one of my favorite horror movies is The Ring. Freaks me out. It's like, see, this is my problem. I love horror and I love horror movies, but I just don't have the stomach for it sometimes. Like, truly, like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Sometimes I just can't take it. But The Ring is like so good. Samara Morgan, like, truly, like, this movie kind of like pioneered a lot of horror. And then we have Split. I watched this when it came out and I hated it, and I only recently picked it up because it was only like $6. But you know, the actor like freaks me out. Like the way he like actually like switches between like personalities is like insane to me. You can like see it in his eyes somehow. It's just like really interesting. I don't know how he did that, but he pulled it off really well. And then segueing off of that, not very smoothly, Sweet Home Alabama. This is such like a, it's just like a classic. Like, it's one of those movies where like, you know, it was written in like 10 minutes, but then it was like they poured their budget into it. And I love movies like that. I just love movies that are just really like, it's like a comedy drama. It's like really interesting. I love Sweet Home Alabama. And then I have Bambi. Classic. Like, I don't even need to talk about Bambi. Like, Bambi's that girl. But I like this one because it has like the deleted scenes and you can see like the old sketches and stuff. I love old Walt Disney sketches. Don't love Walt Disney, but I love his sketches. And then one of my next favorite movies is Nosferatu. I think I watched this with Stacia when it first came out, and I loved it. I'm not sure how much she liked it, but everyone hates on Lily Rose Depp, but I think she's like really good, honestly. Like, I thought she was like the perfect casting for this. And I think Werewolf, she's in Werewolf too. And they like completely like prostheticized, I don't know, fucked up her face in that movie, and they made her like look like an old like radioactive ass looking person. I thought that was so cool, but she really pulled off this character so well. And I will say, like, Nosferatu himself is also really good. I'm pretty sure that's the guy from It too. I forgot his name, but a really great movie, especially just like the way they really, just the aesthetics of this film. Honestly, that's another big reason why I got it and why I love this movie so much. I think aesthetics, I like it when people prioritize aesthetics over writing sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, and this one really did that well. Another couple movies, I have a couple of the Twilights. I'm honestly not gonna lie, I'm not super big on Twilight. However, I have Eclipse and I have the original. They're both my personal favorites. I really want to start getting into it more, just because like I see all the memes about like when it's fall or like winter time, and like you hear the stupid TikToks with like the stupid ass song. I love Twilight for that reason, but that's about it. And then my favorite Conjuring movie, Conjuring 2. I think Valak is like one of my favorite like horror protagonists or antagonists. Simply just because like I don't think there's anything cooler than like a killer nun. Like, honestly, like, I love a lot of like religious turns in movies, and I think that one did it good. I haven't watched this one yet, but I got Salt with Angelina Jolie, and I also had Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I don't know, Angelina, like, why are you only playing spies? Like, what's going on? But I like it. Like, I think she's so hot. Like I said, I'll just buy anything with Angelina Jolie in it. Like, I have like the biggest crush on her. I'm not going to fucking lie. It's been a thing. If you know, you know. But I have Resident Evil. I hate the Resident Evil movies. See, this is my problem. Like, I buy stuff I'll never watch, but it's just something I need to have. Like, Resident Evil has really been, like, played a big role in, like, my childhood, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I watched the original all the time when I was a kid, and then I started getting into the games more, and I kind of forgot about the movies, but I really do want to start getting back into the movies. Oh, you can see all, like, my junk. Sorry. Like I said, I'm, like, in the middle of moving, but, and then I have my personal favorite, like, Disney film, Sleeping Beauty, the original. Yeah, I think this is, like, I really like when Disney would get into, like, the nitty-gritty and, like, the darkness of its topics, you know what I mean? This is, if you think about it, this is kind of like a heavy film, but I just love the direction it went in, and I also really like the live-action version that they did of it. I need to rewatch that one. And of course I have Pearl, and I have Maxine. I felt pretty conflicted when I first watched Maxine, simply because I think it went in the direction, like, no one really wanted it to go. I'm not going to lie. Like, that was kind of, like, hard to watch, just seeing, like, the editing kind of threw me off, and just, like, the pace. I think this is the weakest out of the trilogy. I think it's definitely Pearl, X, and then Maxine for me. I really like Pearl just because of that one monologue it had. I think she really conveys, like, the ditzy, like, obsessive, but also, like, psychopathic girl, like, archetype, you know what I mean? And she just, like, freaks me out, and I remember I watched this for the first time with my dad, actually, and I kind of traumatized him with that, because he's not really into a lot of horror movies at all, but I also like that one scene where she's, like arms, and she's, like, dancing around. I thought she's fucking wild. Like, I wish I could be her. And then there's this one indie film that I got. I don't know if I liked it. I watched it, like, once, halfway through, and I watched it again, but it's called The New Girlfriend. It's weird. Like, it's really, really weird. Like, she's psycho, and I don't know. It's just, like, it's a very sexual, like, weird movie. It's a little perverted, I'm not gonna lie. But very cool. Like, very, very cool. And then I have Matrix Revolutions. This is just a cool movie. I recently rewatched the first one. I've been meaning to rewatch this again. Yeah. Matrix. I mean, Matrix is just a classic. I have Marie Antoinette, and something like I've watched Marie Antoinette and Mary Poppins, like, back to back before, and it's kind of like just, like, the whimsy about these two movies are, like, really awesome. But Mary Poppins is another, like, really, like, staple. I think this is the same disc I had when I was, like, I've had this disc forever, yeah. But Mary Poppins has really, like, I don't know, something about the concept. Mary Poppins and, like, Nanny McPhee were two, like, really big movies in my life growing up. And I think when I have kids one day, I'm definitely, like, this is what they will be watching, like, Mary Poppins and Nanny McPhee. I feel like they're two very, like, life lesson-y type of movies that I think anyone needs to watch. And then I was forced to watch Kinsey as a psych major. I don't like this film. I don't really bond with it very well, honestly. I think it's definitely, like, something you need to watch, but I'm never really gonna pick this up. I didn't really care for it, I'm not going to lie, and a lot of people, like, say it's a really good movie. But another really bad movie that I really liked is Jennifer's Body. Horrible movie. Everyone knows Jennifer's Body. Horrible. Just terrible, but, like, she's really sexy, and she's just, like, there's nothing better than, like, an angry, like, teenage vampire, you know what I mean? Or succubus, in this case. And I also just, Katie's also really cute. I don't know, they're just, like, it's a really classic movie, and I don't know, Katie made it, yeah, anything with like Megan Fox or Amanda Seyfried, you've gotta have it. And then another movie I really like, but I can barely watch to this day, is Final Destination. I have a couple more, but holy fucking shit, like that, I'm not sure, is this the one with the log truck? I don't know. I think this was mainly like an airplane, I think, but Freaky. I loved the new one too, with like the Space Needle type shit. Like that was really awesome. Classic, Devil Wears Prada, gay. Nothing else to say about that, honestly. I didn't like the new one. I saw the new one, I didn't like it. It was sad. But The Craft is another classic. Why is this rattling? Sorry, but it's broken. But The Craft is another cute one. I think, like any like angsty witch movie, just like Jennifer's Body, it's like just something I kind of have to have, I'm not gonna lie. And I honestly think it did a decent portrayal of witchcraft, I'm not going to lie. There were a lot of scenes where, I don't know, it was, I have mixed feelings about that, but I like that they were kind of correct about it in that sense. Another awesome movie that I love and everyone hates, Annabelle. I have like a poster like right up here of Annabelle, and she like watches over me every night. She's just scary as fuck. Like this is another Halloween only movie that I can watch, otherwise I will be like literally shitting myself for a week. And then I have American Horror Story Asylum. I love American Horror Story and I love Asylum. I think my favorite season has to be Asylum and then Coven. But this, like, Sarah Paulson as Lana Winters in this really, like, changed my life. Like, that one scene where she's like, help, the killer's escaping. Someone, like, that's just, like, this is, like, peak American Horror Story. Even though it's, like, the second season, like, I think it's peak. And I also just really like, another thing, it's just the aesthetics. They really prioritize aesthetics in this one. But this is a hefty, like, this comes with 4 discs. It's hard to get through. I think this is, like, the longest American Horror Story season, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe it probably is. But I love how you can, like, rewatch this one over and over again, and you'll always like find something new to like psychoanalyze or like just dive into, because there's so much going on. Like, first of all, that one subplot with like the aliens, like what the fuck, and then they never like resolved anything about it, and then like it's just like, come on, like there's so many like little plots that they just forgot about in this movie, and I think it's like so funny to see that, especially how they kind of like continued the whole like alien thing and like I think double feature, and they didn't even like do it correctly. It was like really strange. It was funny, but yeah, I like that one because they had fun with it, you know what I mean? And then I haven't opened this one yet, but Seed of Chucky is my favorite Chucky film just because Jennifer Tilly, like another, it's a gay thing, I'm not gonna lie, but it's seriously like this shaped me as a kid. Like I would like sneak the Chucky movies on my like my iPad or whatever, my old like Samsung tablet, without my parents knowing. Mind you, like I would have gotten in trouble for that, but yeah, that was another like really fun movie that I really enjoyed watching growing up. Another movie that I really love, it's my favorite kind of like classic horror movie, if you will, but Psycho. Like anything like serious, like it's kind of crazy to think that like this was a very grotesque film back in the day. Like I recently rewatched and I'm like, it's not that bad, but I think a lot about this movie when I'm writing. I think a lot about it mainly because like my time in English class with Hancock, kill me, but yeah, Psycho, it's like the original horror movie, and it's like really cool, and you can like still see like how much it influences current horror movies, and I think that's awesome. And a couple others I wanted to show you. I have Brokeback Mountain. Me and Stacia watched this together like a couple months ago. We had like the worst emotional hangover after this, and I think she actually rewatched it on her own after that. And I remember her telling me about that, and I was like, yeah. But this like movie, it's kind of like similar to what Calling Me by Your Name does to me. Like I love Call Me by Your Name. It's one of my favorite movies that I ever watched, but I'm never gonna watch it again just because of how it made me feel at the end. You know what I mean? Like it's because at the time, like I was in a relationship that blah blah blah, and it was just like it like just left like a really weird impression on me. And this does it just in like a much lighter way. I feel like Brokeback Mountain is something I can rewatch every once in a while, but it really does depict what denial looks like in a gay relationship and how much it can like break our minds in a way, and the longing to be loved and the passion that these two men feel for each other, but they can't have that, or one wants it, the other one wants it too, but it just doesn't happen. And the way it ends on such a sad note, devastating, but it's like another classic that you really can't ignore. Another classic you can't ignore. Polar Express, dude. This movie scares me. Like, I get the same fear out of this as I do when I watch Annabelle. Truly, I do think Polar Express is the most, like, uncanny, off-putting movie I've ever watched in my whole lifetime. I remember, like, for me, personally, like, when I feel nostalgia, it, like, makes me feel sad and not good. I know some people say when they feel nostalgia, they feel good. When I feel nostalgia, I feel horrible. And when I watch this movie, I feel that way. But I need to get back into it. I need to try that again because it's a good movie. It just freaks me out in that way just because I watched it so much growing up. And this is the same DVD. And just something about like the animation in it. There's this one scene where they're like in this like giant like Christmas square, and there's this giant like Christmas tree with a bunch of like floating ornaments or something, and it's just like there's something about like the ringing. It's just very off-putting. This movie is very off-putting. Another movie that I really love, Blair Witch Project. I rewatched this again like the other week. Looking back, like, sure, like, a lot of the found footage, well, it's like all found footage, but a lot of it, looking back, like, at the time it worked. Looking back, it's kind of dated, in my own opinion. But I think, this is another big inspiration for me in my creating. Just the way that they really weaponized perspective. And I don't think they ever show a monster or a witch, I guess, in this movie at all. But it still manages to be twice as scary as most horror movies. It's really interesting. I think Blair Witch really, it's like pure psychological in that sense, and that really fascinates me. Yeah, like I said, like, they don't show anything in this movie, but, like, watching it, you're, like, on edge the entire time. Like, that's crazy to me. And then another classic is Pulp Fiction. Really, really good, but sometimes I just can't get through it all the way simply because of how long it is. I don't even think it's that long, but it just feels like it's 154 minutes. It's pretty long. It's hard to get through, but it's really, like, rewarding in the end. I do think some of the dialogue, or the dialogue in this, it's just like, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's also like, it's Pulp Fiction. It can do whatever the fuck it wants. Yeah, I have a lot more, but they're like packed away in a bunch of boxes, so I don't really want to bother looking for those. But these are some of my tops. Like I said, like Memoirs of a Geisha, amazing. Any like of the A24s, I love. I really love Brokeback, but I just can't watch that. Bambi, heartbreaking, so sad. Yeah, I really want to get more movies, and if anyone made it this far, I'm sorry for the torture I put you through. I just noticed I'm at 30 minutes now. Holy shit. If any of you guys have any recommendations, like text me, because I will pick them up. Also, I watched the movie Stacia. If you're watching this, I watched that movie you sent me. I really liked it. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you did make it this far, I love movies. Boy, bye.